Hey everyone, and we're going to title this video, How to Fix MSF. Hashtag fix MSF 2. No. I mean, seriously. A lot of people have asked me approach this and say, hey guys, do we need to do something like we did last time? And I'm like, whoa, there was a lot of problems with that. There were a lot of good things, but I will tell you right now, let's talk about solutions before we just identify problems. All right, I was taught, and I'm going to teach you guys one thing that'll help you guys in every avenue of your life. Everybody can find problems. Only a select few can find the solutions. If you're going to bring up a problem and you don't have a solution in mind, then you're part of the problem. So let's go over some of the biggest problems in the game, and we're going to start with some of the obvious ones. We just don't trust Scopely. Now, I'm not saying I don't, and I'm not saying you don't as a whole, but the teams that we've gotten, some of the actions that have happened, have kind of diminished the trust, and we'll go into detail right now. Bugs. The single largest contribution to our distrust. The amount of time that they persisted in game, and then the coincidence that ones that benefit the players appear to be resolved faster than ones that are harmful. Perception is reality. And that's a big deal. The fact that we have the perception that these bugs are allowed to exist, and we often pay to overcome them. And I get they're hard to reproduce. But that is probably the single largest contributing factor to why people don't trust Scopely. Now, we're going to throw in teams that don't work as advertised. These are teams that have cost us money, resources, time. All of these things we spend in game, right? We'll get back to that in a second. Overall, trust is at an all-time low. And I feel complicit. I showcase teams like Skilletary beating Marauders, and a simple thing like Deflect makes them lose more than they should as a team in war. I'm sorry. Next piece of the puzzle is we're now advertising Shadowlands. And the Shadowlands team footage was pretty good. I was excited about it. But on the other end of it, there wasn't enough information to make people build up their rosters, unless you had a 7 red star G15 Night Nurse already. Cough, cough, JL, cough, cough. You probably didn't invest in the characters because you don't trust the results. Or, more importantly, you're still recovering from the loss that is Skilletary. So when it comes down to it, we have to address the next piece of the puzzle. The game doesn't feel fun. Fun is an element of a video game, and I get it. I don't think any developer makes a video game and says, I don't want it to be fun. But RTA is tedious. The Blitz Sim was immediately negated by having to do more activity as a whole. I am blitzing more as a player than I ever have, and I am pushing people that sole economy and desire to get better characters is being pushed out of the top tier because more of the top tier Kraken rewards are being locked behind participating in Blitz and participating frequently in Blitz. More importantly, Blitz Sims features pale in comparison to RTA. RTA isn't fun. And we'll get back to that in a little bit later. And so spending overall feels bad, whether it's time or money. It just feels bad. And so notice I use the word feel, because reality of it is, no matter how many facts you show us. How it feels is reality. Perception is reality. So here's a couple of quick fixes, because I started the video talking about if you have a problem, let's fix it. So first, let's start with the basics. Bugs. Immediately start addressing bugs, put it in a more visible area in the game so every player knows about these game bugs so they don't interact with them. If a node features a character that's bugged or requires a character, and I'll show you guys really quickly, we'll talk about the campaigns that require wave 1. Immediately, they should be allowed to be farmed by all players until you can address that bug. Because it is often times in my chat on Twitch or on my comments on YouTube, frustrated players are learning for the first time how to overcome these bugs, knowing that I only reach a small portion of the population. Please like and subscribe and share my video. Selfless plug there. Is part of the problem. But the real problem is there's nothing in game to address that. And I think that's important. Bugs overall, taking ownership, immediately allowing us access to these things that are hindering us will go a long way to building trust. Now, let's talk about something else. The game economy. Now, I've spent a lot of time, I've used all of my resources to help figure out the gold economy and the tier 4 economy and the orange gear economy. And while you think it's okay, it doesn't feel okay. No amount of raw data that shows us logic is going to change the way we feel about it, because we're constantly getting new teams thrust upon us, losing in wars, spending a lot of time in game. And so, regardless of that, we'll talk about something that actually is a thing. And that is the Doom rewards. You guys continuously miss on the actual raid rewards because it's harder to achieve 30% than it is to do U7.5. There just isn't as much gold, isn't as much material, and therefore isn't as much value to the community to overcome, bang our heads against the wall, and get frustrated in a mode that doesn't yield better results. Over time, that's right, guys, over time, 2 weeks, you'll get a single G15 orb worth 14 G15 that'll help you get the G15 that you really need to start challenging these nodes. So, because it feels bad, because it feels like the challenges are locked behind tiers we cannot achieve without beating the challenges that the gear requires, we are frustrated and we're looking for help. Now, something like the reoccurring block party and adding another tier possibly to payday and making sure these things appear possibly more regularly in the calendars goes a long way to helping us with these diminished values. Level 80 is absorbing all of my gold, all of my effort to stay top tier. And I've gone from the 69th ranked player from anywhere to 82 to 95. I just simply can't keep up. And I do this for a living. Now, last piece of the puzzle is something that I think I'm going to take some ownership of. I'm curious about it. We're going to throw a contest and more details to show up. So hold your horses before you guys start throwing ideas, but start them cooking. I want to know, if you're a player, how would you make RTA fun? How would you make the game mode fun? Is it simply you decide the characters banned every week and the objectives every week? Do we take more ownership? Do we go back to having draft in RTA? But how do we make it more fun? Because right now, I think we've given you 2 attempts to make it more fun, and it's our turn at the piñata. Otherwise, we're leaving the party. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I never thought this day would come. But I've thought about quitting the game. I've watched several of my friends leave this game over the past week and a half to 2 weeks. Several. Not one. Not two. Several. Top alliances are having incredible problems filling their ranks to the point where Ghost's accounts are being piloted because the players have long since surrendered to the lack of fun. Now, I do things so you don't have to. I hope I don't have to quit. Love you guys very much. Stay tuned.